Well, you wouldn't think it was the middle of summer here in Cape Town, would you? Look at this rain. Okay, it's only 20 degrees Celsius, so it's not that bad, actually. At least it's not freezing. But it is very wet out here. Anyways, guys, without further ado, apparently, you can't really mention the Ford Everest without mentioning the Toyota Fortuner, right? Can you? I mean, I suppose you could, but I just find that they are almost so well matched. There's not much between them. But grumbling. Oh, and the reason that I am mentioning, and kind of lost my train of thought there for a second, is because this year, I still think I'm in 2021, 2022, we should see the new Ranger and Everest coming to market, so that should be interesting. But until then, okay, Ford decided, let's just spruce up our range in the meantime, and so they introduced this, which is the Everest Sport. They introduced this last year, but I'm only driving it now. So this is basically an XLT model, but it has some extra kit. It's all only really cosmetic. You've got a 3D Everest logo on the bonnet, which I love. It looks a little bit Range Rover-y. And then most of the chrome is gone. You've got like a lot more black detailing, like on the mirrors and the door handles. You've got a black mesh grille on the front. You've got 20-inch wheels, so it kind of looks quite cool. I mean, look, it's not sporty. I mean, maybe. I just don't know if you can make a car like this look sporty. Dude, if you're gonna overtake a cyclist, you can't do it when there are other cars and you're on a solid line, dickheads. Goodness, I mean, that's the motorist's fault, not the cyclist. And you know I'm not a big cyclist advocate. Let's not get into that. Anyways, back to this. It's a bit gloomy for glasses, but for those who want to skip my singing, you'll know when I'm singing because I have these on. Look at me, so considerate. Liter turbo diesel under the bonnet, which you find on the XLT. So it's got 132 kilowatts and 420 newton meters of torque. I think, so you can get it in 4x2 or 4x4 version. Look, I would probably stick to just a 4x2 unless you are like an avid, huge off-roader. But this is, I mean, I'm in the 4x4, but like the 4x2 is absolutely fine. So you're, sort of, what's the word, like gentler off-roading and all that. But I think that this engine, I mean, you do have the bi-turbo options obviously in the other models, but this is going to be the more frugal of the engine lineup, obviously, with the single turbo. So I'm sitting at 10.3 litres per 100 Ks, which I don't actually think is too horrific considering that this is a beast of a car. I mean, it is enormous. You can see, I mean, the space is incredible. Getting in and out of this car, not so elegant, I have to tell you. I have to make sure that I've either got quite a long dress on or pants or it's like pull on a little Britney Paris situation, do you know? What I do love, even though it's so enormous, is that it's not actually that hard to navigate. I've been mostly in and around the city with it, and in the parking lot. And I think, like with all the cars generally these days with the cameras that they've got, it is rather helpful. But I find it just easy to maneuver, and that makes all the difference, I have to say. I make no apologies, this is me. So I had the XC90, you would see, I hope you've seen my previous video, because it was of that, which is also a 7-seater, obviously a lot more premium, but this is like 500,000 less than that. So I think it's incredible value for money. I mean, talking about the price quickly, so this Sport comes in at around 690,000, which I don't see the point of, I must be honest. I never do with cosmetic stuff. So it's 25,000 more than the standard XLT, which I'm just thinking like, wow. I mean, I suppose it's all about image, and if you like the look and you like the black detailing and everything, I mean, it does look good, but you don't have to get that. I'm all about what's on board here, and that's all the same. I mean, you've got blue stitching in here, but I mean, do you give it a shit? I mean, do you? I don't. I would more be interested in the fact that it has the same spec, which it does. So it's sort of got everything you need. And I think, I mean, look, you could even get, what is the other model I want to tell you about? The XLS, which comes in under 600,000 Rand, which is a bargain. A bargain. Ooh, let me just don't crash. Because if you consider the space, what you're getting for it, and everything as a family car, really, really, really good value for money. I mean, I don't in general love sort of bucky, grumbly kind of industrial car, and having driven the sort of the XC90 to this, obviously there's a difference, but there's a massive price difference. I'm just using them in terms of space and all of that jazz. But I do find this to feel quite refined, very comfortable, and I can see why it is so popular. I would go out on a limb, maybe. I might be just absolutely shooting myself in the foot here, because I do enjoy driving the cars back to back before making a statement like this. But I would potentially buy this, I think, over a Fortuner, if only because it just feels a little less industrial, and I think I prefer the interior. That's all kind of, you know, your own vibe there. So if I was you, if you're going to go between the two, drive both of them and see which one you love, because you're going to get essentially a very similar car. But either way, I think for a family that goes off-roading every now and again, or even on just gravel roads, or all that, like, who needs the space, I mean, I've hoid just about everything in here. Oh, I do love space in a car.